Welcome to Awakening Heaven on Earth. Before we begin, take a moment to arrive. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to believe, and nowhere you need to go. Simply listen, contemplate, and notice what stirs and resonates within you. This is a shared space of reflection, presence, and remembrance. Now, let us begin. Welcome. Today we arrive at a sacred threshold. There comes a moment when the still small voice within speaks. Not loudly, not dramatically, but unmistakably. An ember long hidden inside you glows again. The shadows that bound you begin to fall away. A new horizon opens, whispering of home. This is the turning point. The place of remembrance. The awakening of the soul. Not all is lost. Nothing was ever lost. You're returning to the light you have always been. Let those words settle. Because this episode is not about acquiring something new. It is about remembering something eternal. The soul asks, God, I feel something stirring deep within me, a pull, a whisper, a quiet remembering. Is this you calling me home? What happens when the soul begins to awaken? If you have ever felt that stirring, that quiet ache, that longing you cannot name, this is for you. Yes, beloved. That stirring you feel within is me. That whisper in the quiet, that ache in the stillness, that longing you cannot explain. It is the sound of remembrance rising from the soul of you. Now, pause. Let that land. You are not imagining it. You are not making it up. You are not unstable. You are awakening. You are not just remembering me. You are remembering yourself. The part of you that is always known. The part of you that has never been lost. This is crucial. Awakening is not importing God from outside. It is uncovering that God was always within. The turning point is not a destination. It is a sacred shift. A moment when illusion begins to break and light begins to pour through the cracks. Notice the imagery. Cracks. The turning point often comes through fracture, through disappointment, through exhaustion, through heartbreak, through questions that will no longer be silenced. Sometimes awakening arrives not in strength, but in collapse. And that collapse becomes holy. You do not awaken by effort alone. You awaken because the seed of truth planted in you long ago can no longer remain dormant. It must bloom. It must rise. It must return. This is grace. The seed was planted before you were aware. Long before your current struggles. Long before your present confusion. The seed has been waiting. And now something in you is ready. You begin to see with new eyes, eyes that look not only outward, but inward and beyond. Have you noticed this? Moments where your perception changes, where superficial and surface no longer satisfies, where depth calls louder than distraction. You begin to feel the suffering of others as your own, and their joy as your joy. Compassion expands, not because you try harder, but because separation loosens. You begin to recognize me in ordinary moments. A leaf falling, a child laughing, a tear shared in silence. The sacred moves from distant abstraction into daily intimacy. The world may seem unchanged, but you are no longer the same. The turning is gentle, but it is holy. It does not come with trumpets, but often with tears. This is important. Many expect awakening to feel powerful, but often it feels tender, vulnerable, soft. It is the moment you stop running and begin remembering. The moment you stop searching the sky and begin listening to your heart. Now let's enter a time of reflection. Pause for a moment. What has been stirring in you lately? A longing? A dissatisfaction with surface living? A desire for more honesty? A quiet grief for something unnamed? Can you allow the possibility that this stirring is sacred? That it is not dysfunction, but invitation? Sit with that. I have waited patiently, not with judgment, but with love. This line alone can heal years of fear. The divine is not impatient, not disappointed, not tallying your failures. There has only been waiting, patient, loving, trusting. And now you come, not because you must, but because you're ready. Awakening cannot be forced. It cannot be coerced. It ripens. And when it ripens, you turn. Not because of pressure, but because of readiness. This is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of your return. The turning point is not graduation, it is initiation, a return to love, a return to truth, a return to unity, a return to me. Welcome home, my beloved one. You have remembered enough to begin. Not fully remembered, but enough. Enough to begin. That is all that is required. Now let us move through some reflection questions slowly. First, what moments in my life have felt like a stirring or whisper from within? When did something in you shift? When did you feel called inward? What illusions or false identities am I beginning to see through as I awaken? perhaps the identity of not enough, or must perform, or must control, or must please. Which illusion is loosening? How do I recognize the presence of God in the small, quiet moments of my day? Is it in nature, in music, in silence, in tears, in forgiveness? What is calling me home right now? What is drawing me closer to my true self? Be honest. Is it rest, truth, healing, courage, authenticity? Am I willing to let go of who I thought I was, to remember who I truly am? This is the sacred surrender. Not losing yourself, finding yourself. Now let's focus on integration. The turning point does not mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes conscious. You may still struggle. You may still doubt. You may still fear. But beneath it all is remembrance. You now know the ember is there. You have seen the light. And once seen, it cannot be unseen. Now let's share a prayer of unity. Please repeat after me. Loving presence who never left me, I feel you calling me. Not loudly, but gently, in the stillness of my soul, in the ache of my longing for unity, in the quiet remembrance of who I truly am. I am ready now to turn, not away, not outward, but inward, toward the sacred center, toward you, toward the light I thought I had lost. Help me let go of the noise and return to the knowing. Om, peace. Amen. As we come to a close, remember that this journey continues in many expressions. This podcast is part of a family of partner podcasts. Awakening Heaven on Earth. The space between heaven and earth and Living Heaven on Earth are 3 companion podcasts exploring spiritual awakening from complementary perspectives. Awakening Heaven on Earth offers the core teachings and mystical reflections on unity, love, and conscious living. The space between creates room for dialogue, reflection, and lived conversation around those teachings. Living Heaven on Earth focuses on basic spiritual practices that help embody these insights in daily life. Together, they form a unified journey of understanding, experience, and integration, inviting listeners to remember their connection with the divine, with one another, and with the living world. You can find all of them available on the same podcast streaming platforms wherever you listen. And if music helps carry these teachings deeper into the heart, the Unity, Awakening Heaven on Earth album is available on all major music streaming services as a musical companion to this journey. Wherever you engage, through listening, reflection, conversation, or music, may it gently remind you you are not separate. You belong to the one life. And heaven is already unfolding within you. Until next time, walk gently, love deeply, and embody heaven on earth.
I've walked 1,000 miles, chasing heaven through the storm. Tried to earn what was always mine, tried to fix what wasn't torn. I believed it was outside me, looking far to find my worth. But hiding deep inside me, I carried heaven on this earth. I remember now the truth I knew before. Love was never lost. It was deep within my core. The kingdom isn't waiting, it's alive inside somehow. And I remember now. I believed that God was distant, begged for peace in desperate tones. But every whisper of my spirit was the voice that called me home. Not a throne beyond the sky, but a fire inside my chest. Now I see I wasn't separate, I was always being blessed. I remember now the The truth I knew before, love was never lost. It was deep within my core. The kingdom isn't waiting, it's alive inside somehow. And I remember now. I was made in light and wonder, not by accident or shame. I've been held by hands eternal. Now I rise and speak the name. I remember now the truth I knew before, love was never lost. It was deep within my core. The kingdom isn't waiting, it's alive inside somehow. And I remember now. I remember now. I remember now. The kingdom is here somehow. And I remember